CTV's Jeremie Charron is following this for us today from Ottawa. Jeremie, the Prime Minister was asked about this today. What did he have to say?
Yeah, Scott, the Prime Minister weighed in here, and you know, this could have massive implications. There are a lot of what-ifs right now. What if the U.S. makes this decision? What if Vladimir Putin follows through on this promise? Some have called this a bluff from Vladimir Putin. But the Canadian Prime Minister weighed in today, and Justin Trudeau was quite clear in his answer and his unwavering support of Ukraine. He highlighted and reiterated the importance, when it comes to Canada's stance, the importance for Ukraine to succeed and to win this war. Here's a little more on what he had to say specifically about Ukraine's use of long-range missiles.
Canada and others are unequivocal that Ukraine must win this war against Russia. And we will continue to be there to support Ukraine. And yes, Canada fully supports Ukraine using long-range weaponry to prevent and interdict Russia's continued ability to degrade Ukrainian civilian infrastructure and mostly to kill innocent civilians in their unjust war.
It's a pretty clear stance here from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau supporting Ukraine's ability to use long-range missiles. We know that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke with Volodymyr Zelensky last week. Following that conversation, Volodymyr Zelensky shared on social media that he was asking Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to advocate with allies for this push for them to be able to access long-range missiles. So, you know, a clear message today from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. But the biggest question here is what happens in that conversation today between President Joe Biden, U.S. President Joe Biden, and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, because, you know, it has already been made clear that these conversations will be the focus of their meeting, whether or not they should allow Ukraine to access the long-range capabilities of some of this equipment that has been shared with them, mostly, as you pointed out, Scott, by U.S. and U.K. officials. And so, you know, so far, Ukraine has had access to a lot of military equipment from the U.S. and from the U.K., mostly used for defense purposes and short-range purposes. They have not been allowed, they've been restricted from using this equipment for long-range direct attacks into Russia. That is what they are pushing for now. We're talking about, you know, accessing the capability of these weapons that would allow them to launch attacks from hundreds of kilometers away, and they're raising this in a position where they have been struggling to gain position on the battlefield now for some time. So, you know, it's interesting to see that the conversation is being had. And significantly, or part of the significance here is that we've already heard Vladimir Putin speak out about this and threaten that basically he would launch a war on NATO if they do this. He would view this as NATO directly taking part in a war. So again, a lot of what ifs here, Scott, but the implications are massive. It would really change kind of the whole landscape of this war.
Escalating rhetoric and no doubt escalating tension as well. Jeremie Charron reporting live for us in Ottawa. Jeremie, thanks for this.
Anytime, Scott.